Once upon a time, two friends joined forces to bring you the best in horror entertainment. Brian from the north, Tim from the south, each bringing their own unique perspective to the horror community. Movie reviews, Blu-ray releases, beer pairings, games, and more. Welcome to your new home for horror. This is Civil Gore.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to the Civil Gore Podcast. I'm your host, Tim.
And this is Brian, and we're back after our spring break. We sprung and we broke.
We sprung. I'm definitely broke after my
Yeah.
spring break.
Oh yeah, right. You went to Pigeon Forge, which I'm excited to hear about because I only got scant details through our text feed, but I didn't get the whole thing because I figured.
Yeah.
But I figured you would. I didn't want to ask too much either because I figured it'd be better to you can share it on the show.
Yeah. So we'll have that later in our first shop. I'll talk about my Pigeon Forge trip, but yeah, definitely came back a lot poorer than I was going up there. It's an expensive touristy town, so you have to be prepared to drop some cash up there. But we'll talk about that soon.
The food alone, I mean,
Yeah.
it's like I just know Dollywood alone, you end up eating like a million things because it's so good, the food.
Yeah.
But,
We ate like kings up there. It was lovely. But
but
yeah,
did you get our cookie, Tim? Like
okay,
our
I did not
famous
get the
ice cookie.
cookie. I did not get the cookie, but I do have a cinnamon bread story. So
Okay.
we'll talk
Okay,
about
good.
that.
I'm gonna hear that. That is their signature. The cookie thing was kind of me and Tim's discovery
Yeah.
on the side. It's kind of under the radar for Dollywood. It just Tim and I were like, wow, that looks good. But it was so big. So we're like, all right, let's just split it. And
Even
it was like
splitting it, it
half,
still made us sick.
yeah, half the cookie with like a mound of icing on it is plenty.
Yeah.
So
And we're going to talk about a great movie that we didn't talk about when it first came out, which was Hard Eyes,
yeah.
and which was a great one, which I'm looking forward to talking about that. But let's get right into it. This is our first chop.
I'm gonna go a little out of order because I'll go through the sad news of the day, which we found out literally just a couple of hours before we're recording. And this one hurts a little because we actually got to meet her, and that was Laura Park Lincoln. Maybe everyone knows her as most probably as Tina Shepherd from Friday the 13th, A New Blood, and that one was and like she was always one of my favorite characters just because she was very iconic. She was the first person to really kind of like take it next level to Jason kinda, it's
Oh
like,
yeah.
yes, you had Tommy, but like, the Tommy was just fighting, like literally like they gave Laura Park Lincoln's character some powers, and it was really cool. Like, for the time, it was really neat because it was like Carrie meets, like, Friday the 13th. But sadly, there's not a lot of details, right now because they wanted to respect the privacy, which I totally understand, but I did see so much outpouring of support, like, once it got announced, which is, kinda hopefully gives comfort to her and her family, and she started she had her own I feel bad, I forgot the name of it right off the top of my head, but she started like this actor studio, and I remember she was telling us a little bit about it actually
Mhm.
at when we were at New Jersey Horror Con when we got to meet her, where she basically helps make sure that like people get ready for the industry like mentally, kind of a thing like you're prepared is basically what I got from it. Where it seems like she really wants to because we know many people in the industry currently, and it's not kind industry all
Yeah.
the time. It's rough, and you need to have a lot of prep mentally and just artistically. And so she kind of got. I think she really worked with a lot of young actors to kind of prepare them for the. So it's great that she kind of was giving back the whole time. And so yeah, she'll definitely be missed. She was. I think most recently I saw her in that like 13 Fanboy, which was that kind of Friday the 13th
Mhm.
kind of like kind of meta slash slasher kind of film, and it was just that was like when I remember when Cohn sent it to us, I was like, I must have like a double take. I'm like, what did I read that right? Because she was only 63, and like a couple weeks ago, I saw her posting stuff online, so it was definitely a bit of a shock, especially it's like I saw like our friend Laura Marie Taylor, she made a nice little tribute on there. So it's very, very sad to hear, and I hope her family can find comfort in seeing how much she accomplished in the industry and how she helped others and how much she meant to all the fans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, she was a sweetheart when we met her at New Jersey Horror Con, and definitely condolences to her family and friends. And Brian, you stumbled across a clearance sale that I'm really interested in because I have one of these shirts.
Yeah,
I'll let you talk about it.
so we were at the mall the other night. Just we had a couple of errands to run, and so Julie and her sister went into Forever 21, and I think we've told that story. Tim and I have a little animosity towards that, as we were
Yeah.
completely mistreated inside that store while just trying to order our Chucky sets on Blu-ray. But so I right across was Hot Topic, and every once in a while I'll go in there because the last time I went in there, same thing. I like was walking by and I went in to see what there was, and I ended up getting a cool Terrifier 3 t-shirt because it was on clearance. So I always like to go in there, go right to the back to that clearance rack, and they had a big sign. It said 3 for $25, anything clearance. So the first shirt I see is was like the Mummy, like one of those the Universal monster ones from like,
Oh,
that Universal sells. And I'm
yeah.
like, "Oh, they must have got some kind of clearance deal and they grabbed it." So I'm like, "All right, let's see what else is there." And then I found that movie Stream, which was by David Leone's like group. I don't think he actually did it, but his team, like Michael Levy, and some of the I think Felissa Rose, and a big cast of characters in that. I'm dying to see that movie. It was like one night in the theater or something like that, and it's like one of those special engagements. Hopefully, it'll hit. No pun intended, streaming soon. Um, and then I found this one I got. It was technically not my size. I'm a medium, but I got a large because I could not pass up on this shirt. And to make the 3 for 25, it was a Silent Night, Deadly Night T-shirt, but it's done like
Oh,
that comic book style. I'll have to post it on Instagram. I shared it in our text feed, and it was really cool because it was just like, it kind of was like an ad for it, but it looked like it was like almost some comic book panels. And since I love that
that's
movie,
cool.
especially with the remake coming, I wanted to make sure I grabbed that shirt. So I got so not bad, right? 3 for 25 for some horror
Yeah,
t-shirts.
they have some good like horror shirts. I got a sleepaway camp shirt that I absolutely adore.
Oh,
Like it's
nice.
so cool from there. So yeah, I'm always on the lookout for their horror shirts because they have some really really good ones. And they're fairly expensive, but the sleepaway camp shirts held up really nicely. I mean, I've watched it a ton of times. It's held up really well. So
I feel
pretty good
like they
quality.
Yeah, and I feel like they must get, like I said, like, with that Universal Monster shirt appearing and the last time, remember I got the Halloween Horror Nights one there, so they must get some kind of, like they must have some kinda deal with whoever manufactures for Universal, like, maybe there's something slight off with it or something, and
Or
Universal couldn't sell
overstock.
it.
Yeah,
Or
I don't
yeah,
know.
there's gotta be something. I'd love to get to the bottom of that and find out, but I know now, I think I'm gonna make that a stop every time. I know it sounds so silly because 'cause I'm so not a Hot Topic person, but, like, I feel like I'm gonna have to make that trip into every time I go to the mall to go in there, see what kind of shirts they got
Just
now.
don't loiter in the doorway so they don't kick you out for being too old, like Forever
I know,
21.
definitely can't do that, but it was but it's so funny because, like, that was not even the intention for me at all. I had one point in the mall, I wanted to get so going to, a baseball game this weekend, and I had a San Francisco Giants hat, but, I'm like one of these people, like, if I'm gonna go to the team and if I especially if it's a team I'll root for, I need to have at least a couple of items to wear for it. And I've always,
Yeah.
I had a soft spot for the San Francisco Giants, especially now living in the Bay Area. So figured I would grab the shirt and they didn't have it. Well, actually, I take that back. They had one, but it was ridiculously overpriced. So I just ordered one online. It's arriving today just in time for the game this weekend. but um, but anyway, yeah. So that was my, jaunt into the mall and turned out to be a nice, pleasant surprise. So check your local Hot Topics, I guess, because, who knows what will be at, like, your store? Because that's the thing, and, like, I guess, maybe share, with us, the Hot Topic. I guess before I do the next thing, Tim, if you wanna, we have someone to kill, I believe, which we didn't even catch right
We
away.
do. Yeah, and I promised him I would kill him in person. Well, I promised I would virtually kill him.
I know, it's
I
like, "Wait a minute,
promised him
Tim,"
in
and now we just recorded it, so now you better hope this guy survives in real
I
life.
promised him in person that I would kill him virtually. Yeah, this is my good friend. He goes by Tuka online, and he's one of the buddies I play game night with, and he
Oh,
started
okay.
listening to the podcast, and he left us a really great review. And
Yeah.
as promised, we promised we would virtually kill anyone that left us a review and let us know about it. He let me know about it that he wanted to die, and I came up with the perfect death
Okay, nice.
because, like I said, Tuka plays game night with me, and so he loves board games. I know he plays them with his family, and so in my mind, he entered our local game store looking for a game. And unfortunately, our killer is lying in wait, and all the lights go off. Tuka is walking among the shelves, not knowing what to do. He hears the door lock behind him. There's no other customers in the store. And all of a sudden, the shelves start tipping over. And like in those, what was that movie we just watched? There was a movie we watched recently where shelves tipped over. It was
Oh,
that weird
yeah.
one. You know what I'm talking about? The one with the cuckoo. It was
Yeah,
like a
yes,
cuckoo
Cuckoo,
where she
yeah.
was in it. And so the killer pushes all the shelves over, and all of a sudden, poor Tuka is slammed underneath a pile of gigantic game boxes. And I'm talking about the ones that have like 100 miniatures in them. Then they weigh about 40
Oh,
pounds. Crushed underneath an onslaught of the hobby he loves so much, only to be dragged out from
oh.
under the pile by
So
the
he's
killer, who then, in a bizarre display of gamemanship, gets out a dice tray and rolls a 20-sided die to determine which part of Tuka's body he is going to sever first.
just thought out.
Yeah. And so he then proceeds to roll a 20-sided die, and he has a chart, and for every number that comes up, he hacks off that piece of his body.
Nice.
It's very extended. It's very gruesome.
Not that I'm glad he died, he virtually died, just that I like the creativity because that's like that extra, like what was the movie we were talking about? Oh, like with how Terrifier, how David Leone like drags out the deaths. Like most movies would have ended with him just crushed under the shelf by the hobby he
No, you have
loves,
to
and
keep
then
going. Yeah, you have
I
to keep
know the
going.
fact that he keeps going and going and then to make it even worse, it would be like well, no, I guess you said it no, never mind, that's too cruel. I was gonna say that someone like he knows buys the game with his blood in it, like, with the die on it.
There's like pieces of his body, like
Yeah,
as
it's like just
extra
pieces, and it's
components in
like
each.
maybe like his bones are like the he re-rolls the die now. Oh my god, this poor guy. Sorry, I don't even know you, but you're cool to me. If you're a friend of Tim, I know you're cool people. So
It's
I'm
no.
glad you're only virtually dying.
Yeah,
Um,
so that'll be our horror sequence for a horror movie and a game story. That'd be cool. Gotta
yeah.
think
Well,
about
I
the
know they
Game
have,
Master or something.
and you know what's funny? We got five-star ratings on Spotify because I decided to go check, but I don't think we got reviews for it. I don't know if there's a way to review on Spotify. I think you just rate, but somehow we got five-star reviews on Spotify too.
Really? Well,
So
if you guys left us a rating, we'll take your word for it. I mean, we'll use the honor system.
yeah, yeah.
If
I
you
mean, this
left
is
us a
fun for
rating,
us. I
yeah,
mean,
if you
yeah.
left us a rating or something, just let us know and like who do you like just whatever handle or name you want to be called by on the podcast, just let us know and we'll virtually kill you. So I hope you enjoyed that death, Tuka.
It's a good one. Yeah, and now I'm like looking forward to the next one we get to do because like I hope someone
Yeah,
else gives us a
I'll
review
let you
soon.
take the next one, Brian. So we'll alternate them.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well,
yeah,
especially because you knew about him, it made sense for you to be
yeah,
the
I
one.
kind of
Yeah,
knew
you
it. I
had
knew
the
exactly how he would want to die. Well, I don't think
yeah,
he would want to die, but maybe
I know.
he would appreciate it. Maybe I don't know.
These Freudian slips on this poor guy. Yeah. Um, so next thing is after that, let's go back to some good news. So I think I mentioned on the podcast recently that my sister-in-law who does a lot of theater, she was nominated actually for a it was from the San Francisco Bay Area Theater Critics Circle. I mentioned her play she was in. She it was a play called Chaplin and Keaton on the set of Limelight. And it was really interesting play. It was basically was that last role that that Charlie Chaplin was making before he got exiled from the United States. And it's very autobiographical, and it kind of like it's a lot of it like could fit in today, which is crazy with the political landscape going on. Basically it was like they have a big argument on whether or not like artists should speak out or not against the atrocities of what's going on. Or are they there to just entertain? And that was like the argument back and forth. So the play was incredible. And my sister-in-law played Beverly in this, which was like kind of like a comic relief character in there, which kind of funny, a comic relief when the two main characters are literally two of the most comic legends of all time. But so she was really good. And so she got nominated for it was a featured performance in a comedy. And so it was really, it's like I think it was, and specifically like in a theater less than 100 people because she was it was one of those little tiny theaters. But I personally, I love those kind of things. I like the more intimate settings for
Me too.
shows
Yeah.
like that. And so we decided, they had an actual award show, so we decided to make a thing of it. So Julie and I went down there. We spent the night in San Francisco, afterwards and kinda went in, and so it was so exciting. So when we were, like, there and they were going to they were announcing the thing, we were up in the balcony because her whole cast basically was there to support her because the play itself got nominated as well. But, they were all there to support her because she was the actual only, actor from it that got nominated. So, we wanted them to sit together. So we went up in the balcony. So it was kinda like she must have got, like, echoes of the cheers when they announced that she won, and it was so funny 'cause where they were about to announce the name, Julie and I told each other after, we both kinda thought the same thing. I'm like, "You know what? We need something good this year, really. Come on, come on, come
Yeah,
on." And so they announced her name, and she got so excited and go down there, so it was really awesome to get her work. She was so, good in this play, so it was so great to see, my sister-in-law, Lori, get an achievement for all her hard work in the theater. So yeah, and if that play ever comes around anywhere again, like if someone else does a performance of it, I highly recommend it. It's really good.
I would
Um,
totally be interested in that because
yeah, no, you would love
love
that,
those
I
guys,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, you would have loved that. And real quick, I think just to kind of add on that slightly before we get into your trip. So, like I said, we made a whole little thing out of it. And I hadn't been to San Francisco, honestly, really for any kind of long term since we had moved back. And I used to obviously when I went to school, I was like lived in the city there. So I hadn't been there in a while other than, like, for, like, a one like, went in for the night to do something kinda thing and then leave. So this was kind of, exciting. We spent the day, in the city. But I do have to point out this place that I wanna do because you know me, I'm a big pizza aficionado. Um, and so there was this place I've been dying to try. It's Tony's Pizza Napolitana. It's in North Beach in the city. So, like, I mean, this guy is a guy that literally wins awards in, like, Naples and, and all these pizza challenges all over the place. So I'm like, "All right, I gotta go there." And, so we and the good thing is this being a weekday, I'm like, "Oh, we gotta get there right when it opens." So they have these specialty pizzas that they, like, literally people wait in line for, like, on the weekends, it's like a 2-hour line. And the
Oh my
one I wanted to
gosh.
get specifically, I'm gonna describe this, and you're probably your face, I can already see, you're gonna "What the heck?" So there's this one called the Royal Margarita. Okay, it's not very big. Basically, we each got us the 4 of us because we went with, my sister-in-law and my brother-in-law the next day. We got basically 1 slice each, but let me tell you this thing. The thing with the Royal Margarita, there's a limited amount. They make 13 a day, and
Okay,
I'm gonna tell you, you're like, "Well, that's kinda weird." I'm gonna tell you why they make 13 a day. First, I'm gonna read you quickly this, this description, and, like, I completely missed this factor of it, and this is kinda funny. So, it's basically San Marzano Pizzuti tomato sauce, Sorrentina fresh mozzarella, black volcano salt, and Antinori Tenuta Bartolini extra virgin olive oil, and Rocket Farm living basil plant. So I'm like, "Wow, that sounds like a lot of great fresh ingredients."
yeah.
I'm like, "This is cool." So we got in there, and I'm like the first thing I said is, "Oh my god," because I was asking the lady right before it opened too, like, when we're waiting to go in, and then so she remembered me. She goes, "Oh, yeah, you're the one that wants the pizza, right?" I'm like, "Yes, please, you still have it, right?" She goes, "We're good, we're good. There's still left." So I'm like, "Okay." So we order this thing, and all of a sudden, first she walks up to the table with this, like, platter that has this, like, gold, like, rusty olive oil, like, almost like a teapot kinda thing, but it's like an olive oil dispenser thing for the fresh olive oil. Then she comes by with, I kid you not, a full little mini basil plant, scissors, and a little piece of, like, dried oregano, and she puts that on the platter, and she goes, "Okay." I said, "What's that?" And "Oh, yeah, no, you take this home when you're done." So this pizza literally comes with no wonder
Oh,
why there's only
plant?
13 a day because it comes with a mini basil plant. So basically, the pizza itself looks like a very, like, basic pizza with a real good which is good on its own, but then you basically, like, cut your own fresh basil right off this plant and cut the
Gosh.
dried oregano and sprinkle it on and then drizzle the olive oil on this thing. And you would think it'd be way more expensive than it is, but I guess $33 is expensive for a pizza, especially when you get, like it's, like, small. It's not that big. It's only 11 inches,
Yeah.
but you're walking home with a basil plant, and it's like, and just for the
The
sake of
novelty
saying
of
it,
that, yeah.
the novelty, yeah, and I'll have to send you guys pictures of it, but it's, but I'm telling you, this place and that wasn't even there was, like, a gold medal winning pizza they have on there, and they have every type. They literally have, like, regular oven pizza, brick oven pizza, wood fired pizza. It's like unbelievable. This place. If you come when you come to visit Tim, I'm gonna make sure we
Oh
get
my
over
god, we
there to
gotta
this
go because
place.
I'm a pizza fanatic, so I would
Yeah,
be
you'll
all
love
over
this.
that.
I mean, they even have, like, sections of, like, St. Louis style pizza and New York style, but and St. Louis style pizza is, like, reversed, where they put, like, the cheese and the sauce on the top. It's because 'cause I've had it, like, when we went to, when I was in St. Louis. So it's like it's just the types of pizza he has is unbelievable, and then we got this other one that was equally as good, just didn't have the whole gimmick to it. They have other ones that like, there's one that's like 70 something they make per day or something, but apparently what they said on the weekends, you, like, have to be there, like, hours before it opens, you won't get in. So
That's
the fact that we went
crazy.
on a Tuesday. Yeah, so I just figured I had to share that because I never shared that on the show,
That's
yet,
cool,
and
though.
so, yeah, and I figured you need to definitely, we definitely need to take you there, Tim, because I know you like pizza
Yes.
almost as much as me, if possibly maybe more.
I would eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner if I could, honestly, yeah.
I mean, I would too, actually.
Um, okay,
Let's hear about
so
Pigeon Forge.
let's hear about Pigeon Forge. So, the kids wanted to go somewhere on spring break, and they couldn't decide where they wanted to go. Anna wanted to go to a theme park because she's a coaster nut now, and
You
Joshua
did it,
did.
Tim, you did it.
I know, I did it. Well, Joshua didn't really wanna go. He doesn't he's like, "Oh, we always gotta go to a theme park," which is true. We well, most of our vacations have been theme park centric. He's like, "I don't wanna go to a theme park. I wanna see the mountains. I've never seen the mountains." So I was like, "Okay, how
You
about we
get both?
compromise? Yeah, we'll do both. You get to go to the mountains and you get to go to a theme park." And they were both like, "Yay!" So I was like, "Okay, anytime the 2 kids agree on anything, that's what you go for. You don't ask questions, you don't second guess it." So we decided to go to Pigeon Forge. Now, last time I was there was for the Coaster Radio meetup in Dollywood, I believe, was the last time I was there. Which was when? 20
You
gosh.
were supposed to go, I think, since then, right? You're
I
gonna go
think I
with your
was.
family at some
Yeah, I
point
think we had
with,
planned
like,
it
your
a couple
mom and
times.
everything, right? Yeah.
Yeah, we had planned it a couple times, and we just never pulled the trigger. So it's been several years. It's been pre-pandemic, I believe, since I've been. And so I was looking forward to it. So we decided to go a Sunday through Tuesday trip, which was kind of unusual. But we didn't want to. We had some stuff going on Saturday that it was really hard to work around. So it was like, you know what, that'll be fine because Dollywood will probably be less crowded on the weekdays. Not true, as we found out. But so we took all day Sunday. It's about a if you look on it on Google Maps, it's about a 7.5 hour drive for me. Realistically, with kids stopping, breaking for lunch, it took us almost 9 hours to get up there. Also, as you know, the mountains of North Carolina are still recovering from Hurricane Helene, and so there was a section of I-40 going up there that was like down to one lane.
That's
Yeah,
still,
they were
like,
still
wow.
working on it. So there was still some parts that were got a little bit. The traffic wasn't bad all in all, but there were still some parts that were a little hairy. So we got up there. We drove all day Sunday. We stayed at. Of course, you're familiar, Brian, with the island, which is like
Oh,
the
yeah,
center of
love that
Pigeon
place.
Forge.
That was
Um,
actually Tim, that's a very special place. That is the first place, right? Oh, no, was it? No, sorry, never mind, I scratched that. That because I forgot we had all the beers. I was like, "Is that the first place me and Kev had a beer together?" But that was when, that was, like the 3rd time because I
yes.
forgot we went to Carowinds, but in between that,
Yeah.
so never mind,
No,
scratch
we
that.
but the island's like it's like center of Pigeon Forge, everything. And the reason I decided to stay there, I was like, because with us going to Dollywood, I figured that'd be a good location where we could just go pop over for dinner, or we could pop over for little attractions here and there. So we decided to stay there, and I ended up staying at the Margaritaville Island Inn, which is not their Margaritaville resort or hotel, which is right on the island, like right in the island. But it's what they did is they bought this other hotel that used to be there, and they rethemed it as a Margaritaville hotel, but
Oh,
it's
okay, okay.
cheaper. It's like half the price, and it's literally on the edge of the island. Like there's a literal sidewalk that goes from the hotel to the island, and it's like a 5-minute walk, if that.
Island is massive, so that's,
Yeah.
like, pretty good that it's
So
got a
it's not
second
like
hotel
so
now.
you're essentially staying on the island, but you're staying like for half the price. It was not bad at all. And it's very well themed. They recently remodeled it. It's obviously it's Jimmy Buffett themed and everything. Had a nice pool, had a great breakfast. Staff was friendly, very clean. Would totally stay there again. Water pressure was good. That's always a big one for me. Got to have the water
Right.
pressure. water pressure was good, so I would definitely stay there again.
You
And
need
so
that
that
Kramer, like, nozzle, right, for
yeah,
sign yeah.
yeah. So we when we got in, we walked over to the island and we let the kids. There's some rides over there. They want to ride do the big Ferris wheel there, and I think we ended up eating at Dick's because it was the only place that had hamburgers. And of course, if you guys,
So, like, they're angry with you and they do stuff,
yeah,
right?
so
Yeah.
if you guys have never been to a Dick's Last Resort, it's I wouldn't say the food's good. You kind of go for the gimmick of it, but the waiters are always the whole gimmick of this place is that the waiters are going to be rude and like sarcastic to you. They'll still give you great service. The service is good. It's just that they act like they can't stand to be there, kind of thing. It's like a funny comedy thing. And so our waiter, like first thing he comes to the table, he throws like 20 straws on the table. He's like, "What are you guys having to drink?" Well, first of all, let me ask you, are you drinking alcohol? And I said, and we were like, couldn't make our mind. He said, "Look, I can give you two reasons why you're probably drinking tonight." And he pointed to the two kids.
That's funny.
and he was like, "No, wait a minute, never mind that. That's probably what got you into this mess in the first place." So,
That's funny. They
but
must
later
have,
on,
like, actor like, right? They it has to be, like, people
yeah,
that love acting
that
and
are really
theater, like,
like
to be
good at
there.
improv and stuff. And so, but they were funny. Like he kept calling Joshua Justin Bieber because Joshua has the hair in his eyes and stuff. And what
That's
they do,
funny.
like halfway through your meal, they come around and they put this white paper hat on your head, and it has something drawn on it, which is embarrassing, but you can't see it because it's on your head and everybody else
Oh,
can
no.
see it. So I mean, and some of them are bad. Like I think Olivia got the one that said, we'll flash we'll flash you for a Walmart gift card."
Oh, God.
I saw one at another table that said "Smoke more sausage than Jimmy Dean." Another one that
Oh,
said,
God.
I'm the reason the football team has mono." There's all kinds of funny ones.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Joshua got one that said puberty, and then it had a buffering progress bar.
Oh my god, that's funny. Wow, they're good at those.
They're pretty brutal. It was pretty hilarious, and so we had a good time with that. So we got up Monday morning and went to Dollywood and got there, rope dropped, opened the gates.
Did you at least get the good parking, like, in the front section or, like
Yes,
okay,
we
good.
not the very
That makes
front, but
all the difference.
we were close, very close. Yeah, because Dollywood parking is incredibly long if you don't get there early.
Yeah,
And
it's like, you know how most parking lots are, like, wide? The Dollywood, I feel like it's like a mile and a half, 2.5 miles long. It's like
but
the weirdest
they
parking
opened up
lot.
a new parking lot. It's up on a hill,
Oh,
but it's
okay. Oh, that's
closer.
good.
But it's not. There's just no tram service. You have to walk, but it's like
Oh, okay.
fairly close. So they are increasing the parking.
That's good.
But yeah, so obviously I wanted to ride Lightning Rod. I never got to ride it when it opened. It was always, and then the next time I went back, it was closed. Actually, I must have gone after the Costa Radio meetup because I know I went back one time when Lightning Rod was closed
Yeah, you
after it had been
did. You
built.
went, I think you guys stopped there on the way back after one of the Hollywood nights, if I remember
That's right.
correctly.
That's right. Me and Kevin
Like,
stopped there for a
You and
night
Kevin
day.
stopped there, and
Yeah,
it was still down. I know, I was supposed to go twice, and, like, both times I got was supposed to go that was when I was doing the BW theme park, so I got, like, basically, they said I was able to get, like, press passes to go try it, and we literally had to call twice, we had to reschedule because it was still down, and then finally we ended up going. We met up with the Breckners, for the Christmas celebration that year. That was the second time I went for the Christmas thing, and it was finally open then, and I only got 2 rides because it did break down a couple times during out the day, so
they replaced the lift hill on this thing to try to fix it, but let me tell you, it's still not working right.
Oh,
Which
no, really?
we'll get to. But so we went in, we went we kind of made the mistake of going to the back of the park first because I thought that would be the less crowded. But as it turns out, it was spring break. Everybody was at Dollywood. The lines were
Uh,
fairly long. I mean, I'm used to going when we went to Dollywood, it was like 10-15 minute lines. Like
it's a
this time, every ride was 45 minutes to an hour.
wow, that's
So me and Anna, we went and rode Mystery Mind, and actually Joshua rode it too, which I was surprised because he was a little
what did they
scared of
think
the.
of that one? Because remember you were saying, like, she was worried about the rides because, like, "Oh, I've been on those before, that's not that big." But I said, "Well,
Yeah,
maybe she'll like Mystery Mine because it's so unique."
Yeah, oh, no, she loved it, and Joshua loved it, and I was surprised because it actually goes up it has an inversion at one point, and I thought he would be terrified of that, but he actually liked it.
I love that
Um,
ride. That's one of my favorites. I
yeah,
just
we
love that
it's
theming and
it's what we
everything.
ended up riding the most there. We rode it at least 3 or 4 times,
Oh,
but
nice.
so we rode Mystery Mine, then we went back to the back, we saw the new section and we decided we all wait in line for, Big Bear Mountain because, obviously none of us had ever ridden it. It was a family coaster, so Joshua was willing to go on it. Olivia was even willing to go on it, and that one's really fun. I mean, it's a definitely a family coaster, but it's got some intense launches, and it's long, and it
Nice.
was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's a good addition to the park. And but after that, I'm looking at these wait times, and I'm going, oh my god, because we had made the decision we were going to split up. I was going to go with Anna. Olivia was going to go with Joshua. That tends to be common because Joshua doesn't like the bigger roller coasters, and Olivia doesn't either. So she's like, "That's fine, we'll split up." And I was like, "I'm telling you, I'm worried we're not gonna be able to ride everything today because if everything's an hour, mathematically, we're only here till 8 o'clock. We can't ride everything, period." And so we talked about it, and I said, "What would you think about us just springing for the time saver pass?" And Olivia said, "You know what? We're only here for a day. We're not coming back tomorrow. Just do it. Spend the money. You guys ride what you want to ride." So that's what we did. We went and got like not the basic one, but the next tier up, so we could ride at least one ride on Lightning Rod and some of the other newer coasters.
I mean, it makes sense. It's like, you're spending enough money to get there. And if you can, yeah, I'm not saying like, oh, everyone just go splurge, but like if you can afford it, it's worth it because you've invested so much money already to get there and go to the park. And then if you don't get to experience it all and you only have the one day, it's worth the extra money to make sure you get the value.
Yeah, I was like, if I don't get a ride on Lightning Rod, this is going to be a complete disaster. This whole vacation because I mean, this is the one credit I wanted out of all of this. So we did. We went back up to. Luckily, by that point, they had already sold out of the ultimate fast. I'm gonna keep calling it fast pass. It's called Time
It's
Saver,
okay.
but
We're not the slack here. We can
no,
get away with
so yeah,
not
they
using the
they had
right
sold out
verbiage.
the ultimate one that gave you unlimited rides on like Lightning Rod and stuff, but they had still had some of the second tier down. So we bought 2 of those. So me and Anna just started hitting everything hard. We made sure we hit every coaster in the park first once, and then we decided to go back and ride our favorites. Let me tell you, Thunderhead, which as you know is their old
One of my
wooden coaster.
favorites. Yeah.
My God, Thunderhead is running so beautiful now. They retracted, I believe, recently. I was amazed at how it was the best rides I've ever had on that
That's
coaster.
one of my favorite wooden roller coasters too.
Yeah,
I
it
love that.
was fantastic. We rode now granted, we did ride up front, so I didn't get to see what it was like in the back, but I'm telling you, the front was butter smooth. For a wooden coaster of that age, it was butter smooth. It was good air time. I mean, I told Ann, I was like, "You don't understand how excited I am about how good this thing is running." And I left Coaster Radio Trip Report. I totally forgot that to mention
Oh,
that.
no.
So,
You
because I was so,
gotta
like,
resend.
excited. But, yeah, Thunderhead's running like an absolute dream. I was so excited because that is one of my favorite coasters in the park, and in fact, it was Anna's favorite coaster out of all of Dollywood was Thunderhead.
Wow,
But
nice.
we,
It
of course,
is
we were
it is a cool thing, like, especially when you go through the station and, like,
yeah, you,
it's like
like,
there's a
roar
lot
through
of
the
cool
station.
elements on that
It's
that
it's
ride.
such a great coaster, and it's just running so good now. I was just so excited. We did so we finally get on Lightning Rod, get up to the to the train, and they're like, "We're sorry, we're shutting down for testing," and they
Oh,
start running empty trains. I'm like, "Oh my god, like, even now I can't get on this damn
yeah,
thing."
it's I don't
So
even understand what the problem is with that
I don't
either. I
either.
don't get it.
They run 3 empty trains. Finally, it comes back around. They said, "Okay, we're open." I was about to leave, and they was like, "Okay, we're opening things back up. We're gonna let our guinea pig test it one more time." So they had one of the crew members get on. He rode it around one time, then they opened it back up. So we finally got to ride the thing. Luckily, we got in the very front row. So just
Oh,
as it
nice.
happened, we ended up getting in the very front row. So at least my one ride on Lightning Rod, I got front row seat. And it was fun. It was super fast. It's
Yeah.
intense. It's a great ride. Went back later in the day to ride it, shut down again. I'm like, "I thought you guys fixed this damn thing." Like, it's like both times I've come here to ride it, and it's like both times I've had to wait because it was shut down. So I don't know what's going on, Dollywood, with this thing. I was very
I
disappointed.
will I will tell you one thing, you don't miss anything with the launch up the mountain because up the lift hill, because when I went on it then, when it gets to the top, it stops anyway and then kinda goes slow down, so they basically made it so that your speed over that first hill is the same as it was always.
Yeah, I've heard
So
that
you
there's
didn't
really
miss
no
anything on
difference.
that.
Yeah. I was very disappointed that Blazing Fury was down. It was closed.
Oh, I was gonna ask you about that because I that's like a
Yeah.
sentimental one for me. I don't
I
know, something
was
cool about it.
yeah,
I
I
love
was
it.
so excited about that, but let me tell you, this is kind of a good news. It's closed down because they're remodeling it. They're doing the,
Oh, they're giving it
I
the
don't know
Silver
that they're
Dollar
going
City
as I
treatment.
don't know if they're going as full blown as Silver Dollar City, but there was a sign out front that said it would be closed. It was opening later in the season with new effects or something, new experience or something. So they're definitely giving it a facelift, which is cool.
It went under the radar because I don't see anyone really talking about that either,
Yeah,
like
well,
on the
I and
coaster
that's
site.
another stupid thing I forgot to leave out of my trip report too, was that bit of news. So unfortunately, but so yeah, but anyway, so it starts getting later in the day. Oh, I got to tell you about the cinnamon bread. So I said we got to
Oh,
go
yeah,
get
yeah.
cinnamon bread. Olivia's like, let's just have cinnamon bread for lunch. I don't give a crap. Let's just eat cinnamon bread. I was like, okay, let's do that. So they've changed it. When me and you went, Brian, I think you'd go into the little store and you'd order your cinnamon bread. Now the cinnamon bread is in such high demand, they have a separate counter like outside of the main store building that just does cinnamon bread, to just
Like,
sell
it's
cinnamon.
become like the Dole Whip of Disney
It
now.
is, yeah, it's like a separate place you buy the cinnamon bread. So you buy the cinnamon bread, they give you a ticket, and then you take it into the bakery and you redeem the ticket for your cinnamon bread.
Oh my god.
So, oh my god, we got 2 packs of this stuff. 1 to take home, 1 to eat there, and we just gorged ourselves. They give you the cinnamon roll icing. Oh, it was
The
incredible.
recipe for it.
Oh,
So,
it's
but
yeah, you gotta give me
I
the rest.
don't think I'll be able to ever make it as good as they do
No.
though, so no matter
But anyway,
what.
so you gotta get cinnamon bread. That's the thing you have
Yeah.
to do when you're at Dollywood. So everybody loved that. But yeah, so it got a little bit later in the day and the lines just started dropping off big time. Like things were going from an hour wait to like 10 minutes. Like just
Wow.
the park cleared out. And this was like, they closed at 8. This was about 6 o'clock. Everything starts clearing out. So Josh was like, you know what? I want to try riding a bigger roller coaster. And that's when we had gone over. He wanted to ride Lightning Rod. That's when we went over and it was down
Oh,
for maintenance.
that might have been a little much for a first big roller
Well,
coaster.
I thought so. I
Yeah.
thought so. I said, well, let's just go do we did Fire Chaser Express. He'd already read that earlier in the day because that was considered family. He said, no, I want to do something bigger. I said, well, Tennessee Tornado, but I mean, bud, it's got these loops. I mean, it's going upside down. You got the old shit drop into the tunnel. Like it's pretty intense. I'm
That
just going
is
to tell you.
the fact that that ride runs so well still too,
Yeah.
Tennessee Tornadoes is a wonder. I don't understand how that's so good still.
But Josh was like, I want to try it. I'm like, dude, are you sure? Like, this is big boy stuff now. Tennessee Tornado's no joke. He's like, I want to do it. He gets on it. I'm like, okay, I'm probably getting ready to scar this kid for life. Anna, of course, she's an old pro now. She
Yeah.
doesn't. She was like Tennessee Tornado, whatever. Got off of it. I mean, I'm like, oh god, here we go. He's like, oh, I loved it. Let's do it again. He was loved it.
Wow.
Absolutely loved it. I'm like, oh my god, like this kid just hit his first inverted coaster and he loved it. And
Yeah,
so
aerodynamics for the win. Once again,
Eric,
they brought many people into the hobby.
yeah. So then he's like, let's go do Wild Eagle next. I'm like, all right, let's go. He goes, he does Wild Eagle. Loved
And
it.
see that one, that's impressive because that's, a style that I mean, think about it, it's relatively new to still us, that kind of flying
Mhm.
coasters only in the last 10 years or so. So it's
And
like,
that was Anna's first wing coaster as well. But she loved it. But I mean, he did the same thing Anna did at Busch Gardens. Like right at close, she suddenly realized she loved roller coasters. And this is right at close at Dollywood. Josh was like, "Oh my god, I love roller coasters."
you
So
need to
I
go on Fury this summer. You got to get down there.
Oh yeah, I promised him. I was like, "Dude, we're going to Carowinds this summer because you guys are now both coaster boy, coaster nerd, coaster boy, and coaster girls. You guys love coasters. We're gonna
You got to
go hit
go
it
on one of
hard.
the best in the world
We're
right
gonna
there.
hit it hard." So yeah, so Joshua became a convert this trip. I was so excited. So the next
Nice.
day, and I will caveat this by saying that we had told the kids, "This is your vacation. It's your spring break. You will dictate what we do. This is what you can do in Pigeon Forge. Go look it up. Y'all are old enough. Look it up on the website. Look what there is to do. You tell us what you want to do." And so we kind of left it really open to them to make the decision on what they wanted to see. If they wanted to go to Gatlinburg, if they wanted to go to the arcade, if they wanted to do this, that. Well, we ended up having a Alcatraz crime museum right beside the hotel, like literally right across the street. And I kind of wanted to go to it because I'm a true crime nut, and Olivia's a true crime nut, so she wanted to go to it. But we didn't want to influence the kids because like, they might be a little bored in that. But Anna was like, I want to go to that true crime museum, and Josh was like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're
Nice.
going to the thing. Now I'll tell you this: this place is called Alcatraz East. That's what this. It's
Mm,
shaped like a prison. It looks like the most touristy freaking tourist trap on the entire strip. I mean, it just looks like a ripoff. Okay, I'll give you that. It's actually a legitimate crime museum. This used to be the National Crime and Punishment Museum in Washington, D.C.
oh,
It
and
was
they moved it?
sold
Okay.
to a private owner and they opened it in Pigeon Forge. So it's a legit crime museum.
Kinda makes more sense to be in DC. But,
Yes. But anyway, so
uh,
if you're thinking like if you look at this place and go, "Oh my god, that's like a tourist trap ripoff," it's actually a really good museum. I will say it's a little overpriced. It's a little pricey. I think admission was like $30. It's a little steep, but
that is kinda high, yeah.
I will say we stayed in there like 2.5 hours. Like it's decent size. And if you're a true crime nut and you really want to see some authentic like serial killer shit, like it's cool.
Nice.
Like they had one of the most like creepy things I saw in there was they had some letters that the BTK killer wrote from in prison. Like just seeing that in real life, because BTK is the serial killer that scares me the most. Like that dude would go in and just kill the entire family, kids,
And did
women,
they
men. He
I
didn't
can't
care.
remember, did he ever have, like, a specific, like, pattern like most of them do, or did he
No,
just
he would just pick somebody he wanted to kill,
it
and
was
he'd follow
random,
'em.
right? Yeah.
He'd learn the routine, and then he would go in their house and he'd kill everybody in the family.
Oy.
I mean,
Yeah,
that
that's
dude scared me more because Dahmer. You think, oh, he only killed these young boys, or Gacy, he only killed these young boys, and Ted Bundy, he only killed these women. But somebody that can go into your house and just kill everybody and kids without even
yeah,
caring,
that's like
oh
yeah.
man, it's a whole nother level of evil. So seeing that was they had like Jeffrey Dahmer's eyeglasses, and you're sitting there staring at this thing, like, oh my god, it's one of those things. It's one thing to read about it, but then to see these actual things in front of you, like, makes it so much more real. Was really interesting, and the layout was cool too. They started out in medieval times, and it has like torture instruments and stuff, and then it goes into like the old west, and you see like these old west relics and stuff, and then it would go into like the prohibition days, and you would see like Tommy guns and things, and then it would go like then they would have like serial killers, mass shootings,
Oh,
uh
wow, they got a lot there.
yeah, so different it would go into like it was very well organized and it would flow through, and even if they didn't have like like actual props, they would have like big plaques on the wall telling stories. Like you could read all about the John Benet Ramsey kidnapping, or you could read all about Ted Bundy, or you could read about all this stuff. And like
Did they
he
have
really
Richard
took it.
Speck in there? That one used to
Um,
freak me out, that whole story, because I had a true
I
crime,
don't.
like, mass murder book once that I got, like, from Time Life, in the discount section,
I
and
wouldn't be
Richard Speck one
surprised.
was
Yeah,
scary.
like I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't have. I didn't read it. Obviously, didn't have time to read every single plaque they had on the wall, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't mention that. They had actual electric chairs, actual gas chamber. I mean, they had Ted Bundy's VW Beetle that he drove around in. Like that's crazy
Where'd
stuff.
they get that? Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, they had the OJ, like I was literally within 2 feet of the OJ Ford white Bronco that he did the getaway in.
This has got, like this gotta have a lot of, like, real estate,
Yeah,
this
it's
museum.
huge. Like it's multi-level. Like it's multiple floors. And the bottom floor had like the garage section with the cars and stuff. But
Oh, okay, okay.
so cool to see this like there's a necklace that belonged to Charles Manson. And then if they have it, they will have even a picture of the person wearing it, and then you're seeing like the necklace in front of you that he
This
was
actually
wearing it.
sounds cool. I need to put this on the radar if I ever
Yeah,
make it back
it
there to
was
Pigeon
really cool. Like I
Forge.
said, it's pricey. If you're not like a diehard true crime fan, it's probably a little pricey for what it is. But if you're really into that stuff, like me and Olivia are, it's definitely worth seeing at least one time. We
But
really enjoyed it.
to me, sometimes it's not even the topic of the museum, is if it's the kinda way they present the museum, I could find sometimes I'll get interested in the topic because of the museum does such a good
Yeah.
job of
And
showing
and
it, so
there's stuff about, like, how do they solve crimes, and here's, like, ballistics things, like, you could hands-on, like, match the bullet ballistics stuff, little things like that you can do.
let's see, I love that kinda like, those
Yeah.
exhibit
They had,
things like that. Oh, that's cool.
you know, we always talk about that Nexium cult. We all watched the
Yeah, yeah.
documentary.
Oh, they have that there?
They had actual, like, banners that the Nexium members used to wear, like the sashes, like the higher ups in Nexium would wear these colored sashes to tell you, like, what level of,
Oh, wow.
member you
I
were. They
actually
had
met a
those.
Nexium member. I met the, the one that played, Amperu, the young Amperu, Bonnie
Yeah.
Peace. She was at, one of the at the Chiller convention one time. It was before I think she joined that. That was right after,
Oh my gosh.
one of the right after the prequels, so, we got to meet her. So, I think it was before she did that, and she was starting to do music, and then I think somewhere after that is when she got, but she got out. She was one of the ones that kinda got out,
Yeah.
so
Oh, it's great. If you guys like true crime, definitely put that on your list. We got out of there. We decided one of the things we had promised Joshua because he wanted to see some nature stuff. Obviously, Pigeon Forge is like
yeah.
even when
I
the
mean
kids got there, they're like, "Oh my god! Like seriously, Dad, this is like the tourist trap from hell. Like, what are you? What is this?" I was like, I warned you. It's touristy."
and no,
Um,
there's nothing even Branson is not as much as what's there now.
Yeah, oh,
It's crazy.
it's definitely gaudy, but, we wanted to go to Forbidden Caverns. Forbidden Caverns is a cave system that they open for tours. It's a privately owned cave that has been running tours since the 1960s, continuous tours since the 1960s. I don't know if you guys have ever been on a cave tour. I've been to one, which was Linville Caverns in North Carolina. That's the only and I
I've been
was
to a bunch, I love those, and
yeah,
Silverdale City has their own, like, so that was cool.
I was really young when I went to the Linville Caverns one, so I was really looking forward to this one, and it was great. I mean, it was a lot of fun. They take you down into the cavern. You get to see had a great little tour guide that would they would do the whole thing where they turn the lights off and you
Yeah,
see how dark it is down there. Very wet cave, so you got dripped on a lot. But beautiful. I mean, had beautiful lights in there to light up certain sections, and he was very good about explaining how deep under the mountain you were, and it was a lot of fun. It's about an hour long tour. You're under the ground for about an hour, and definitely well worth it. The kids loved it. I loved it. We had a great time with that. So Forbidden Caverns, put that on your list. It's about a 20-minute drive from Pigeon Forge, so it's not too far. And then we left there and we had to do an alpine coaster, so we went to the
I was gonna say I
best.
was waiting for this one. I
Yeah.
was excited
We
because I wanted to see what the kids thought of those,
yeah, we
'cause I
went to
love
the
those things.
what I consider the best in Pigeon Forge, which is Goats on the Roof
Yeah.
coaster, and, we
It's
had
like so
wanted to do
unique. It's a
yeah,
unique one with the goats there. It's, like,
we
so
had wanted
random.
to do it at night. I have to tell you, like, so it's called Goats on the Roof because they actually have goats on the roof, and Olivia got out of the car, and she was like and I was like, "What?" She said, "There's really goats on the roof." And I was like, "I told you it's called Goats on the Roof for a reason. They have goats on the roof." But they've actually expanded. Like now, Brian, they've got like a giant mini dinosaur themed mini golf course
Oh,
built
really?
onto it. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
wow.
crazy. Like they've built it up. It's almost unrecognizable. But anyway, we had wanted to go on this because I'd promised the kids to do an alpine coaster. We wanted to do it at night because the coasters are better at night.
Oh, yeah,
But
'cause especially they have the lighting packages
yeah,
over there
but,
in Pigeon.
Anna really wanted some pool time. She loves hotel pools, and I had promised her pool time, so I was like, "Okay, we're gonna have to forgo the night ride and just do it during the day." So we did it, and, I went first because I was like, "I'm not using brakes, guys, like, I'm going balls to the wall." So,
That's what drives me crazy. They almost need to, like I think you almost need to have kinda give your like, when you get in there, you're like, you need to, like, a brake line, non-brake line so they could space it out, so 'cause that happened to me once, I was so mad, I had to, like I think I went on it I bought one of those things where you could buy a second trip anyway, thankfully, it was like,
yeah.
for an extra $5, you got twice. One of the mountain cars, I had to do it twice because the person kept stopping in front of me, and they have those sensors that make you stop if you don't stop, so it's like, I couldn't even, it
Yeah.
was so frustrating, but
I
yeah, sorry, go
well, it was faster than it was faster than I remembered. I mean, I was like, "Oh, crap. This thing is really fast." Yeah, we had a blast on that. So what was funny though is I get to the bottom, so I get off of the thing. Joshua's right behind me, so he jumps off. Anna's right behind him, so she jumps off, and I'm like, "Where's mommy?" "I don't know."
I
"Well,
don't know.
where is she?" "She was right behind you guys." "I don't know where she is." So I'm like waiting for her to come down. She's not coming down. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Did she fall off? What's going on? So we walk outside and we look up at the track, and here's Olivia like turtling like a
Oh,
like
no.
slowly coming down the mountain, like riding those brakes the entire time. And we're just like dying laughing. She finally made it to the bottom, but
Oh, poor
she
O.
was riding those brakes. But she had a fun. She liked it too. And they were having a deal. They were having a deal like it was $12 a ride. Like usually I thought those were like sometimes they're like $20 for a
Yeah,
ride.
no, like, well, and, like, sometimes, like, you can get, like it'll be, like, $24 and, like, because it's, like, really, like, 20, but for an extra 4, they'll let you ride a second time
Yeah,
kinda
they
thing.
so Goats was having a deal this week where it's like it was just $12, which was pretty good. So we did that. And then we went back and we ate at Paula Deen 2 nights in a row. I'd never been to
Oh my
Paula
god, how
Deen.
much butter have you consumed in those 2 days?
I probably shortened my lifespan by about 5 years, but I'd never eaten at a Paula Deen, so, like, the whole family style thing was new to me, but, man, the kids loved them some Paula Deen. So we ate there the first night, and we, like, stuffed our faces, like, it was so good. We just,
You
like,
can't
completely
not, 'cause
destroyed
that's
it.
all they do is, like, bring you
Yeah.
more and more food.
Yeah, it's like, "Oh, you want more?" And so we destroyed that place. Well, we the next night, we were gonna go to Mellow Mushroom because I wanted my
Oh, we
pizza, and
yeah.
Josh was like, "Man, but I'd really love some of that Paula Deen." And Anna's like, "Oh, we could do Paula Deen again?" And I'm like, "Wow, come on, guys, it's kind of expensive. Let's just do Mellow Mushroom." And they're like, and then Olivia's like, "Yeah, but man, that Paula Deen was crap." So we all went to Paula Deen
Eh,
again. So
oh my
Paula Deen
god,
got
yeah,
our
just
money 2 nights in a
I
row.
can't even imagine the cholesterol you consumed in 2 days
Oh
at
my
that
god, the
place.
butter. Oh my gosh, it
I feel
was
like she must make so much of it that you probably get a little piece of her in every meal, because it's like,
it was
she probably just, like she
gluttonous.
probably just rubs off she probably takes her arm and, like, rubs it off, like, the butter just
Oh my
oozes out of her
god, it
arm
just
onto
oozes
your,
out of her pores.
yeah.
It was
Uh,
so good, but oh my god, we ate
Look at
ourselves
one of
sick.
her recipes. Seriously,
Oh, it's
like,
pure butter. Like,
I
it's like
don't
a
think
freaking
there is
tub of
any
butter.
recipe she makes that has less than a stick of butter in it.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no,
just yeah,
we ate our weight in butter those 2 nights of Paula Deen. But no, we had a blast. We went back, did some pool time, drove back Tuesday, and beautiful drive back. Like the weather the whole time up there, no rain, sunny,
oh,
70s. I
nice.
mean, just a perfect time to go. We had a great ride back. We ended up not hitting the same uh I-40 section on the way back. So we just cruised right on back into town and had a blast. So that was our Pigeon Forge trip. I got me a really cool Sasquatch mug. Let me tell you,
Nice.
Pigeon Forge is nothing but freaking Sasquatch themed stuff. Like it's all it is up there. You know, it used to be like bears, like grizzly bear, like or
Yeah.
black bears or whatever.
I
Now
feel
it's like
that's
Sasquatch.
forced there, though. I don't think there's any Bigfoot up there
I
and,
don't.
like,
This
considered
is
there.
Bigfoot country, like everything Sasquatch. Every store you go into has Sasquatch stuff. So I was trying to find a really good coffee mug, and I finally found like one that wasn't like super gaudy. That was like I posted pictures of it on my Facebook page. I'll have to post it on Instagram, but
Again, if you
uh,
come visit out here, we could take a drive to and get down
the
to, like,
real
the real
Sasquatch
Bigfoot,
country, yeah.
yeah, real country for you there.
But yeah, so that was the one thing I picked up, and I picked up some I got some moonshine for my brother at the Old Smoky Moonshine. I
Nice.
got some cinnamon whiskey for me, and yeah, just had a I think the kids got a shirt or two from the Smoky Mountains, and we had just had a great time. Spent way too much money,
Yeah.
but it was a blast. We had a really good time.
But you know what? This is what I tell people, like, because so many times, especially when you go to, like, if you're saying you're going to Branson or you're going to Pigeon Forge and like that, the reputation of the cheesiness of there is it's undeniable and it's impossible to hide. But what I told someone, it was funny. I was with, my boss at the time years ago when I was she left the company at this point, but she was planning a trip to Branson and I told her, I said, "Oh, I was just there about a year ago. I could tell you everything to go, like, what to do." And she's like, "Okay." And I said, "I'm gonna give you the first tip, though, that I will tell anybody that goes to either Branson, Pigeon Forge, one of those things. Don't worry about how cheesy it is. It's meant to be." I said, "Just live into the cheese, like,
Live
dive
into
in
it.
head first."
Yes.
Dive in head first. You're not living there, for God's sake. You're
Yeah.
on vacation. Enjoy every stupid, silly thing you can find. Like when we went to the Costa Radio had the Silver Dollar City, Julie and I met up with Jared and Jen, and we decided to do the Dolly Stampede, and that those are like, that's basically like a Dolly version of like medieval times. And we went through like the little toy museums and we did every little silly thing you could possibly do there in Branson. And but you end up just let yourself have the fun. Don't judge it. Like, it's like don't judge yourself for buying like the eating at Paula Dean's Butter House or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like
Yeah.
enjoy it. Like you know what? That those places are meant to have fun. And it's like, is it for everybody? No. There's some people there that it's just like it's too overwhelming and they need like just true culture, but to
Yeah.
me, I can appreciate both. I'll go here and see like wonders of the world, but I'll also like to go to a place like that where it's this million miniature golf courses
Yeah, well, I kind of wanted the touristy aspect of it because I knew the kids were aging out of it. And and in my mind, I was like, this might be the last time as a family we go to a place that's like super touristy, cheesy like this. Like this might be our last chance because the kids are they're not gonna want to do, they're gonna get to a point where they're gonna get older and they're gonna want to do probably more serious things or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is our chance to just do the old cheesy Clark, the Griswold family tourist trap vacation, and we had a blast doing it. So I don't regret that at all. And we had a great,
Oh, they probably had the time of their lives.
yeah, even you walk in these stupid, cheesy, touristy gift shops, like, just looking at the stuff was fun. We'd make fun of things, and, like, it was a ball. We had a great time. So I don't regret
Yeah.
that at all. These places are
Yeah, no,
meant to
and
be family cheese.
yeah, I mean, there's obviously a market if they keep just expanding. It's like
Yeah.
that. There's obviously they're doing something right.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't regret it. It was I will have to say it was one of those vacations where you come back and you had no regrets. Like, you saw what you wanted to see. You were ready to come back home. You were tired. You were ready to come back home, but you weren't miserable. Uh, you had a lot of great memories. You had a lot of laughs. You had a lot of fun. So yeah, I don't have any regrets at all. It was a
I
great
mean,
trip.
every time I've been to that area, I realized I figured Julie and I did the count. I think we've been to that area in Dollywood. I've been there one more time. That time we went with the Coast Radio. So I've been there 4 times, and every time it was a little bit different experience, and I had an amazing time every time. Like the one with the Coastal Radio one, where we did the zip line, and
Yeah.
we had beers at the island, and we did that Mystery Mansion, and like I still remember one of my favorite memories of just the whole theme park career. And this sounds so stupid, was you, me, and Kev sitting there eating those boiled peanuts, like, outside the arcade, like, and,
Yeah.
like, I mean, just stuff like that. It's so silly, but it was fun. I had, like, the best times
And
at
at the
those
end of the
things, so
day, you don't care about the money you spent there. It was all
no, you
about the
don't.
memories you had.
If
So
you have fun, it's money well spent, it's
money
like
well spent. Yeah.
that's the part I don't get when people say, "Oh, I wasted $45 on me. Did you have fun?" "Yeah, but," I'm like, "Then no but. You spent it. Why
Money
can't
comes
you
and
spend money
goes.
on entertainment? It's entertainment. Go have fun." Ugh.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway. Well,
So
it's funny,
speaking
so
of
you
speaking
mentioned
of
Bigfoot,
Bigfoot,
I know.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Brian's
Tim
TUBI
gave
TRAP.
me yeah.
Oh,
What did I tell you, Tim? I said because you said, like, "Oh, if there's anyone that would should judge this movie, it's me because it's Amityville
he
Bigfoot,"
said
and
something
I
like
said, "I."
it was like thoughtful and cruel at the same time. I
Yeah,
believe
it
was your
was
words.
because it's like, you made me watch this. But I will say, so this came out in 24. It was directed by Sean C. Phillips, who actually stars in it, and he should just direct or write, and whatever he did to this
Oh
acting
my
is
god,
not
this has
his.
Eric Roberts in it.
I know, so that was what I was gonna get. It had 2 legitimate people in horror there, I guess. Eric Roberts, who's, like, just I'm convinced him and Nick Cage are trying to outdo each other with things they'll take. But Eric Roberts, I mean, I will never fault the guy. I love that dude, especially since we met him, and he's as down to earth and awesome as you would hope he could ever be. So I will never criticize anything he did. So he saw something in this, whatever he saw in it, okay, fine. I may not have seen it, but he might have saw it. And so the fact that he's in it in one of these Amityville movies, and I will say, so this movie took the approach. Oh, real quick, and also a Tuesday Night from Nightmare on Elm Street
Oh,
was in
okay.
this too. The rest of the people, it's like Lorelai Linklater, Laura Francesca, Sean C. Phillips again, and Ashlyn Sittel. I feel like I've seen these people in other Amityville films. I feel like they met. It's like that
They're part of
Hallmark
the
thing where they
shared
sign a
universe.
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something in there. And this one, it's funny. This one kind of at least took the approach like, it was kinda self-deprecating in a lot of ways. There was, so it's like, basically, there was even, like there was this kind of like they were filming a bad Amityville movie within the movie kinda thing. So
Okay,
it's
so it's kind
like
of
and so
meta.
there's a
Yeah.
little bit of that in there, and the only real true mention of the main Amityville is that I guess the evil Amityville Chemical Corporation, which the funniest thing is now Tim has been to Amityville, where I lived. The town is too tiny for the 9,000,000 things that appear in these movies, like the fact that there's an Amityville Island and an Amityville, like, this and that. Like, the Amityville, like, literally was, like, a very small I mean, there's a couple of areas of it, but there's no way all this stuff fits in there. It's a little sleepy kinda town. It's like
Yeah.
they got restaurants and stuff. It's so funny, but, so basically, though, it's so funny that it opened with literally I don't even think the actors remembered their lines, like, the way they were delivering this thing in the beginning. I mean, I'd like to think it was intentional, but one of the lines in it is so funny. They go like, I don't even think this script was proofread because there's one line he says, "He's the biggest idiot we have." So I'm like, "So you're calling all you guys idiots? Was that intentional?" I don't it's weird. So and then like, there's then they basically it's like these scientists kind of thing that are just saying all this weird jargon that makes no sense. And then you find out there's also in the same area, this scientific lab is there, and there's rumors of a creature and then you discover there's a movie being filmed, and it's being filmed by this guy that's obviously modeled after Kevin Smith. No hiding that. And then his angry father who's just screaming and spitting out seeds the entire movie. I don't quite know what's going on there. But the funny thing is in the middle of it, there's supposed to be a crowd scene of these protesters, and one of them guys holding up a sign that says, "Stop making Amityville movies." So it's like so you could tell that there was, like, this tongue in cheek, like, they know that they're just slapping on Amityville, like, this
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
meant to be what it was. And again, while I'll say it's not everyone's cup of tea and probably not gonna see myself watching it again, I could appreciate the fact that they knew what they were making. They knew they were making a schlocky, silly movie. One thing is actually the effects were surprisingly not as bad as I would have expected. Like some of the gore scenes were like, yeah, I mean, are they like Damien Leone level? No, but they're definitely better than a lot that we've seen. Let's put it
Mhm.
this way. And there was no weird CGI in there, which I've seen some of the Amityvilles do. So that one's good. Um, it's weird though. There's just like some like the cast of characters that kind of like get into this whole thing with the Bigfoot. Like there's a bird watching group and then there's one part where I don't even understand it, but there's some random naked guy pushing his dog Poopsie in a stroller, and I don't understand why that sequence was in it. Like the character is, I think just comes in for that, and that's it. I mean, like you like it's one of those movies that's like hard to concentrate on because you're just like trying to figure out like what the hell was that for, and then next thing you know they're on to the next scene already, and
Yeah. It's sort of like the last one I
random
watched.
kinda
Like,
thing, but it wasn't until, like, where there's 20 minutes left in the movie before you finally get Eric Roberts. You just keep hearing his character name, and honestly, I forgot at that point that he was supposed to be in it until he finally makes an appearance, and he's typical all out Eric Roberts in it. And kinda like it kinda ends really weird. I mean, there's some scenes in there, like, to go scene by scene is just crazy. I mean, I guess if you got nothing better to do, pop it on Tubi, or if you're like me who eventually plans to watch every single Amityville movie, which is becoming too much of a task because, like, if you watch 1, 4 come in its place right after. It's like
it's like the
they
Hydra, like,
multiply.
you cut off one head and 4 more appear.
Yeah, I feel what's his name? Billy Peltzer, like, dropped the Amityville scripts into water, and then, like, boom, now you got million Amityville movies, it's like I feel like that's what it is, but yeah, so, I mean, it was definitely, like I said, I can appreciate what it was, they had an intention, they wanted to make a silly, crazy, over the top Amityville movie, kinda making fun of itself a little bit, and then somehow they convinced Eric Roberts and Tuesday Night to be in this thing, but, so I'm not sure why, but,
I
oh
think a
well.
lot of these
Eric
deals get done at for horror cons. Like, "Hey, we shut in our
yeah, like
movie for, like, 2 days."
but I will say what I love about Eric Roberts is he literally will not care, he'll do anything because he just loves acting and stuff, he just
Yeah.
loves being in things, and good for him?
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So
Um, alright, so let's get on to our feature film since I guess we're kinda running long. Uh, we we are a
yeah.
horror podcast after all, I guess we will talk about a horror movie.
Yes.
This was Heart Eyes from this year, and of course directed by one of my favorites
Yeah.
horror personalities, Josh Rubin.
Even though
Uh,
you didn't really like his Wounded Fawn movie, but I like that one. I know
I
you weren't a big
confess
fan.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Wounded Fawn, but I am a Josh Rubin fan.
Oh,
So
yeah. He's great. I
total
mean, I
Josh
love
Rubin fan.
Scare Me was incredible, so there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff he's in. He's like one of those, like yeah, he's one of those, like, horror personalities that just is in a lot of things and does a lot of things, and he's, like, just he's so likable because he does such a good job of all his things, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I will never not be a Josh Rubin fan. This one starred Mason Gooding as Jay Simmons, Olivia Holt as Ally McCabe, Gigi Zombardo as Monica, Michaela Watkins as Crystal Kane, Jordana Brewster as Detective Janine Shaw, Devin Sawa as Detective Zeke Hobbs. And the synopsis here is: for the past several years, the Heart Eyes Killer has wreaked havoc. Wreaked havoc. That's one of our phrases.
Yeah.
Wreaked
Wreaked havoc
havoc
for
on
the
Valentine's Day by stalking and murdering romantic couples. This Valentine's Day, no couple is safe. I went and saw this one in the theater. Um, Absolutely loved it. I will say this one has the feel to me, definitely had a very Happy Death Day feel to me.
well,
Uh,
Christopher Landon was one of the writers, so
yeah, because of
that's
that. Yeah, because of the writing style. But I love that writing style because what it is, it's hard to explain, but it's one of those movies that I kind of feel like Happy Death Day was the same way, where Happy Death Day was a little more, I guess, original premise, but it's one of those movies where it's not breaking a lot of new ground per se, but it's so good at what it does that you don't care. Like it's like here it's almost like best way I can describe it is the game developer Blizzard. They used to take like games that were not really incredibly innovative, but they would make some game that was so good at doing that one thing and so polished that it was just like better than anything else in that space. And that's kind of what I felt like this was. Like this nails the type of comedy slash horror slash meta movie that Scream laid the groundwork for. And even though we're not seeing anything that's incredibly different from that, it's so good at what it does that you don't care. It's like it's like a polished version of these Scream clones that have come out. Like it's just a super
yeah.
polished version of that, and I love that. And I love that it was a romantic comedy horror, which we haven't seen a whole lot that really leaned into that
It
side
even
of it.
had the exact beats of a romantic comedy horror
Yeah.
movie, and, like, to the point of where, like, it didn't try like, it was basically a romantic comedy slasher, and that's the best way to describe that, and I absolutely loved it. I didn't get to see it in the theater. I watched it, instantly loved it. It reminded me, of course, and again, it makes sense, like the Happy Death Day reference, but also It's a Wonderful Knife, which was also one of the co-writers was Michael Kennedy, who wrote that one.
Yep.
So obviously he's got a style that just appeals to me. These two guys, and there was another writer, Philip Murphy, also was three writers on this, which is pretty impressive that it was three writers, but it felt very like unified. Like it didn't seem like everyone had their style mixed in really nicely. I would love to have all three of them on and just say, like, how did you guys do that? You had three
Yeah.
writers on this, and it felt like one vision. So, but yeah, I just loved it. I loved the pacing. Mason Gooding is like, of course, was really popular in the last Scream sequels. He is
Mhm.
incredible in this. He's great. He's made for these
Really
kind of
good.
roles.
Yeah,
And oh my
definitely.
God, I'm such a big Olivia Holt fan now. I mean, I loved her. I always forget the name of it. The one she just did. It's kind of like not. It wasn't Totally Killer, but it was like that one. It was on Netflix. Oh no, it was Totally Killer. Sorry, it was Totally Killer. Um, I was thinking it
Yeah.
was the other
Yeah.
one. What's the other one that's like this one?
I know what you're talking about. I'm like drawing a blank. But yeah, she
I
was
know, it's
yeah,
the one on Prime, like, but yeah, Totally Killer, this was the one, and she was great in that, I love that one. So it's like and she's just so good, you know what it is? She's got, like, just great facial expressions when she delivers stuff, and she's got good comedic timing, good horror screams, good everything, and it just I mean, just the cast on this was great. I mean, like, Jordana Brewster and, anything of course, so now I love that Devon Sawa now is, like, at that level where he's just appearing in things now,
yes.
and
Yeah.
no matter what he comes in, no matter how short, how long, how quick his cameo is or role in it, he kills it. Like, and he's like so great. And he's like, it's like it automatically makes the movie like to another level just him in it for even a few minutes, you know? And Jordana Brewster, like, went, like she was like I love seeing her in this kinda role because she was like I mean, I've seen her in what was that one where she was playing kinda like a little crazy with the killer cheerleader things or something? Was it Debs, was it? Was that the one she was in?
I don't remember.
Um, I'm go
But
let me look that up, but
she
she
yeah, you're
was,
right. She's, like, perfect for this kinda role, though.
yeah, 'cause she kinda has that, like, wacky, like, those and she's, like, obviously an attractive woman, but she can make this crazy eyes and, like, just look over the top in this that was so perfect and it was needed. I gotta look up that other movie I was thinking of. I'm pretty sure uh, it was Debs, the one she was in where she was, a little crazy in
Yeah,
that too.
Debs, that's right. That's what it
Oh, okay,
was.
good.
Yep.
Okay, and yeah, and just, like, I just loved everything about this movie. Will say, I'm not gonna spoil it because it's still relatively new, so I don't wanna give away certain things, but
Yeah, because it's just coming out on streaming and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, and I wanna give everyone a chance because it had a quick, like, in and out, like, of the theater kinda thing. Um, I kinda predicted, well, not to spoil that either, just think I predicted some of it. Some of it I thought was a little bit tip, but not all of it, which was good. They still managed to have enough of the reveals of it at the
And
end
I
that,
think that
like
comes from knowing these types of movies. We've seen these types
right.
of movies so often that we're gonna be inclined to kind of guess
Yeah,
aspects
but you
of
know
the
what?
beat.
It didn't matter. It didn't detract anyway
No.
from it, honestly. It basically made me see, "Oh, let me see how how why and how that fits in now." But just overall, I just loved the pacing of it. I loved how it, like, was like because it's like I like these modern slashers. Scream really did kinda added to this, like, Halloween and Friday the 13th, they had the slow walking slasher and, yeah, maybe Jason ran in part 2, but most of the time they both what I love these is they're quick, they're violent, and, like, the gore is, like, over the top, and it's more realistic, it's like watching, like, Michael Myers just kinda walk after you and these people not figure out a way to get away, and,
Well,
like
it's also not supernatural. I mean, these movies
yeah,
are all
that too, yeah.
human-based killers that are more realistic than obviously than a Jason or a Michael Myers. So, and there's even though they're maybe doing some stuff that seems a little implausible in real life, but
Yeah,
they're
like, they
still
maybe
based on
survive a little longer with, like, a needle
yeah.
in their face,
But
but
still, that yeah, that kind of makes it more grounded, I guess, because it's not you're not watching some kind of monster. You're watching like an actual, in theory, could really happen kind of thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it just yeah, you know what it is? It's just this one just like, the pacing for it is incredible. There was not a slow moment in this
The
movie,
pacing,
really.
I even remember sitting in a theater going, "My god, this movie is like has a great pace to it." Like, I was never once bored, like, it was over before I even, like, wanted it to end kinda thing.
Yeah, this I tell you,
Yeah.
like, whatever, Michael Kennedy and his writing, literally, he's now giving me, 2 holiday films now, like a Valentine's Day movie and a Christmas movie. Now, I can't wait to see what he takes on next. I hope he's got another, like, holiday in his mind because it was real it's like, honestly, it's like this is the kind of slashers that we need right now. These are the kind that go on because they're and, and like you said, yeah, sure, did they break any new ground? Not even in the slightest
In fact, they
other than
retreaded ground, right? I mean,
right, right. There was
some
a
of it's
lot
like
of, like
retreads of stuff from Scream and
oh,
stuff we've
yeah,
seen
big
before.
time. There's so many references to, like you could say, like, "Oh, okay, they ripped that off for Scream," but I don't even say it's a ripoff. It's just it's it took the same thing and just, like, like you said with the Blizzard thing, it took things that people like, and they just did it well. So there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, it
Um
doesn't I think it doesn't feel like a ripoff because they're so I don't know why you know this innately, but it's an homage to those movies. You know these people know those movies, so it's not a
Yeah.
ripoff because you understand that they love those movies, and that's why this is in this movie, not because they're copying it, because they love Scream, and that's why this is here. I mean, maybe you have to be like a super horror fan to like really connect with that, but I think anybody that's like a horror fan that grew up on Scream movies and even the other not, movies of that time period, like I Know What You Did Last Summer and Urban Legend and all those, you get that feeling from these that this is a generation of filmmakers that grew up on those and is replicating it for today's audiences, but in the same kind of style. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it just never feels derivative or if it's a ripoff. It always feels like an homage, in
Yeah,
my
I wish
opinion.
I could remember the other movie that was like Totally Killer that I can't think of for some reason. I just don't know why I can't think of it. But it was the same style. It was like
Well,
that
there was a
80s
recent one that
style,
came
like,
out on Netflix that was like,
oh, you know what?
but it was
That's the
weird
one
because she went back in time to the
that might be the one
2000s.
I was thinking of. Totally Killer may be the one I was thinking of. Then and the other one is the one I
Yeah, Totally
think.
Killer was the '80s one, but the other one that came out recently was the one where she went back to the 2000s, and I was like, "This doesn't
Right.
seem we this seems weird," because, like, it didn't seem like she went that far back in time, I guess, which
Right, yeah, Totally
Time
Killer is the
Cut,
one
Time
that
Cut. Oh
I
my god.
liked.
Yes, Time Cut was the other one.
Time
That
Cut,
was the one that
yes,
came out
okay.
on Netflix, yes.
Yeah, okay, and those were both great too, but yeah, but, like, I forgot yeah, like, Totally Killer was the one actually I had in my head that I was thinking of,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that was the one I really liked. So, yeah, I mean, definitely I mean, Olivia Holt obviously I hope she continues to do these horror movies, and I hope she's in a lot more things because she's great in it, and Mason Gooding, I think, again, like, I just wanna keep seeing more of him in it because 'cause he's got that, like, good comedic timing, he's got that, like, that's that, like he's like the perfect, like, horror leading guy, kinda thing to be in
Yeah.
those kinda movies. So, yeah, I just hope more of that. So, yeah, so, I mean, I can't recommend this one enough, honestly, because I think especially if you liked, like, It's a Wonderful Knife, Happy Death Day, those kinda horror movies, like, that's the one like, my sister-in-law, she like, she just kinda gets into she doesn't like a lot of crazy horror movies, but she liked It's a Wonderful Knife, she loved Totally Killer, she just happened to watch that one on her own, I didn't even say anything, and so I told her this, I said, "Oh, okay," I'm like, "This is the kind this is based on what you told me, what the kinda horror movies you like, you're gonna love this one, you gotta watch this one," because I think this is a great and it's, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not like it's not filled with a ton of gore, great gore, I'll say.
Yeah, well, no
Um,
yeah.
but it's still like like it's like one of those horror movies for someone that's like maybe just on the fringe horror can still get a lot out of it.
Well,
So,
that's what I liked about it because they could have pulled their punches on this one. I mean, they could have made this a straight up PG-13, cut a lot of the gore, done a lot of the kills off screen, but there's actually some really good kills in here that I was
yeah.
surprised. That's what made the kind of even elevated the movie more in my mind because I think it appeals to entry level horror, but it also appeals to like diehard horror fans. Like they that's a really fine line to walk, and I think Josh Rubin did a great job, like making this appeal to a very wide spectrum of horror fans.
Yeah, and I think when you have horror people that are in the world and love it themselves, it's this is what the result of it. You're gonna get movies like this that are gonna appeal to every,
Because
all
they are
different kinds of
fans.
aspects.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. They are fans. They know what people want to watch. They're going to make the movie they want to watch, which is
Yes.
yeah. So yeah, I absolutely loved it. I mean, like I said, we went to the theater to see it. It was one of the few horror movies that I actually ever get to see in the theater, and so I was really excited about it. And we had a good crowd. It was a fun time. And yeah, I definitely like this one. The other one that we probably need to cover at some point is the monkey, which I also saw in
Yeah,
the
as soon as that
theater.
comes out, I didn't get to see that. I figure that'll be as soon as that hits, Blu-ray,
Yeah,
um,
we'll have to
we'll
cover that
watch
one
that.
because
We'll
that
do
was
that one.
another one of my favorite horror movie experiences in the theater this year. So that would definitely
Maybe that'll even do a roundtable because I think everyone's seen that,
big.
so
Yeah, that'd be a good one. That'd be a really good one. But yeah, Hard Eyes, big thumbs up from both of us.
yes.
Absolutely loved it. And you know what? I was glad it was a Valentine's themed horror movie because the only other one I could really think of is we had Cupid from back in the early 2000s, which I liked, but was it that was wasn't it Cupid? There's one
Well,
called Cupid
there was obviously the My Bloody Valentines, but there was, Valentine also,
Valentine. There's also
which
one
was
called yeah.
okay, but
Yeah, Valentine was that in that same level of yeah, sorry, Cupid was from that one was from later on. That was from 2020. But yeah, I was thinking of Valentine was the one I was thinking of around that same time period of the early 2000s that was kind of a it was okay, but it was when
yeah.
those type of movies were kind of hitting their saturation point. I think that was Valentine was 2001. So this one
Yeah.
kind of to me was like, oh, finally we got like a really good Valentine's horror movie.
Yeah. I mean,
Finally.
since the original My Bloody Valentine, which was
Yeah, yeah.
which is the bar, I like the set. But that had its different style. That was 80s. That's always gonna be, like, hold a special place in my heart. It's one of the first
Yeah,
slashers
exactly.
I saw as a kid. So,
This one kinda made up for Valentine, which I don't know, I will also have to say, I kinda liked Valentine at the time,
I didn't hate it. I'm just saying it was okay. This one is,
but
like, what I wanted.
yeah, and when I rewatched Valentine, like, years later, it wasn't as good as I remembered it being. So, this one kinda, like, to me, kinda made up for that, so, but yeah. So let's get on to our beer pairing, which this one, I'm sure we got some kind of Valentine's themed beer here.
Well, close. Yeah, I don't know if it's Valentine, but it feels like it should be. So it's called Heart of Hearts from Allagash Brewing Company, which I've had many of their beers. Pretty good. This one's 6%, and it says brimming with bountiful tartness and raspberry richness. This ode to love is laden with flavor. Heart of Hearts is ruby colored, Foudre aged. I don't know what that means.
Mm.
Foudre aged sour beer, rested for 4 months on fresh plucked raspberries. Here's
Jeez,
to
okay.
I know. Here's to delightful days and euphoric evenings for you and yours. So that's the beer that
That's
Mason
interesting.
and Olivia's characters can enjoy.
I like that. That sounds
Uh,
nice. So our fan topic food question is a great one. With Heart Eyes being a slasher essentially mixed with a romantic comedy, what kind of hybrid slasher do you think we need or need more of if it already exists? So
I
I
thought it
already
was a good question, right? I
That's
like
a
that
good
one.
question. I already let mine slip in the text feed. So
Oh, but it's a good one.
I'll
I'm
go
almost
ahead and tell you
afraid of
mine.
you saying it because someone will steal it from you.
I know I'm almost afraid to say it. Well, maybe if I don't go into detail, I don't know. I'll go ahead and say it.
Yeah, it's
But
okay.
My my idea, and this is not popular. This would probably never get greenlit because westerns are not a popular
I don't know. They
genre
just came
anymore.
out with Once Upon a Time in Amityville, so yeah, go right
Well,
ahead.
so my thought was, I know we've seen horror westerns. We've seen Bone Tomahawk, and there was
What
Oregon
was that one? Oregon
Trail.
Trail. Yeah, that was a
Oregon
good
Trail
one.
was
Yeah.
good. You've got some more artsy ones like The Wind. Was it? I think it was called The Wind. There
Yeah, oh,
was
that was we like that was that folk horror western one
Yeah.
was we
So
really liked,
there's
yeah.
been some. Don't get me wrong. There's been some great horror westerns, but I'm
Oh, what's
talking
that
a
other
horror.
one? What's that one we loved? Like Reservation Road? Remember with the priest going through the western
Oh,
town?
yeah, that
That
one,
one was
that
great,
so
yeah.
there's good horror westerns, but, speaking of which, Brian, I have to aside, I'm reading The Buffalo Hunter Hunter. Have you heard of that
Oh,
book?
no.
The Buffalo Hunter
Sounds
Hunter
good.
is by Stephen oh my gosh, Stephen Graham, what is the name? But anyway, it's a novel that just came out. It's by Stephen Graham Jones. He's done some other great horror titles, but yeah, Stephen Graham Jones, The Buffalo Hunter Hunter. It's about Native Americans who stumble across a vampire.
Oh, wow.
It's
Oh, I might
excellent.
have to buy that book.
I'm
That
listening
sounds
to the
good.
audiobook right now, and it's excellent. I haven't finished it, but it's really cool,
Oh,
really
you know
really
what?
cool.
Maybe I should look into it because they did a cool thing in California now where they basically passed some kind of thing where basically if you're a California resident, you can get like and have any library card, you could basically access like 100,000 new audiobooks or something. So I got to
Oh
look into that, see
yeah,
if they have that.
definitely see if they have that one because this one is super. Like it mixes my two favorite like things in the world. So that one's cool. But anyway, back to the thing. So my idea, we haven't really seen a Western slasher.
Right. Yeah.
Is something I don't think I've ever seen. So my idea was, what if you had like this band of people, men, women, children, they're traveling west, trying to get west, just like the Donner Party, which I've read a lot about. They take the wrong route. They get snowed in. They have no choice but to take up shelter in this abandoned like ghost town, mining town, to try to hold out the winter. But what they don't realize is there's a killer in the ghost town starting to pick them off one by one. And so that's my idea. I'm not giving you the other plot point because I'm not gonna, but there's another plot point in there of who I would, how I think it would play out. But think about like a slasher, but it's in like this old Western ghost town, snowed
Well,
in
there
for the
could be
winter.
so many cool like kills just because it's like in the the old western town things, it's like
Yeah. And I don't know who the killer would be. We would have to think about that. But is it somebody from outside? Is it from somebody from inside? Like, I don't know. We could make it
And
a
no, I
mystery.
kinda
I don't
like
know.
kinda
Yeah.
like that because so cool, like, they especially, like, if there's gotta be a really cool, like, saloon scene, you know?
Yeah, like, that's what I'm thinking about, like an old abandoned Western town, like, with the saloon,
Yeah,
the jail, you could have like, something with the jail, you could have something with you know,
awesome.
just all the trappings of the Western, but you just have a slasher picking them off.
I like it. So I kinda came up with a couple of crazy ones here, like some weird ones, but I think I'm gonna give 2 of my favorites, because this one kinda mashes 2 of my favorite kinda horror subgenres. So picture this, it's basically like a giant kaiju kinda film, but while the
Oh.
city is dealing with this thing attacking, there's also a slasher who's killing people on the loose. So you're
Ooh.
literally these people now, like, they can't, like, go out in the open because this giant kaiju is stomping around, but there's also a serial like, a slasher villain that is killing people off too. So the premise I had was there'd be a big group that's like of survivalists that are kind of like find themselves kind of like, a lot of people have been killed off and they're kind of trying to survive through the town and they're in a group together. But there's also a slasher coming after them while there's a giant, like, kaiju type monster,
So
like,
this would
stomping
be
around.
like how Cloverfield mixed found footage and kaiju. This would be like
Yes, exactly, and that's
slasher.
kinda
Yeah.
yeah, I think that could be really interesting because it's like, it's bad enough to try and survive while this giant stomping thing is coming around, and then and then imagine, like, trying to also like, you can't even trust anybody because could the killer be in your group right now? Because you're just finding your survival party kinda dead. So it kinda goes in with yours a little bit where, like, who's the killer here? Is it someone who's just there already? Is it that? Are they related to the kaiju somehow? Like, all the possibilities. And the other one I thought of, and this one made me think because I like that movie Overlord so much, like a kind of a more historical fiction slasher where it takes place during an actual, like, time period and a true event, but where you add a slasher element to it while people are, like, dying. Like, you know how they mix the zombies in with the World War II stuff, like, all the time? But
Yeah.
imagine, like, I don't know, like, maybe, like, trying to think of an event that's not, like that I could think of.
You know
I don't
what?
know, like the Gulf War or something, but there's a slasher in a base, like an army base or
I
something,
would like
something
to
like that.
see that made me think of another one, like, what if you had, like, okay, think of Jack the Ripper, like, Victorian England, but you have a slasher during that time period when there weren't
So it's like
really
a
serial
second
killers.
one. Oh, that'd
So
be really cool.
it's almost like a Jack the Ripper, but in a time when there weren't a lot of, like, slasher serial killers like that, and you have, like, these old detectives, like, trying to figure out the case, and it's like before they had fingerprints and all this other stuff, they're trying to figure out who's doing this. So,
When they throw in the little Scotland Yard thing. Well, you know
yeah.
what's really cool too? It's like because you could literally have Jack the Ripper be a victim, and then but nobody realizes because they didn't know who Jack the Ripper was for so long. So literally, he's been dead, and it's someone else. Oh, we
Oh
got so
my
many ideas with this.
oh my
This is
gosh, that
this
sounds
is a
fun.
whole untapped genre that really needs to be start going. By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of mixed genres, did you see that game? I don't know how this one escaped it. Maybe you saw it. I never heard of it before. It's like called Kong Survivor. It's on Xbox. It's basically it takes place. I don't know how this got so, like, under the radar, but basically you're a guy and you're trying to go find your sister who's, like, lost in the destruction while, like, Kong and the other monsters are, like, stomping around, which is kinda what gave me the idea for my slasher thing.
I'm just looking this up, I never heard of this.
And
It's called
watch the video on Xbox, the trailer for it. It, like, looks like the biggest us game ever. It's so cool. I'm like, "Oh my god." It's like they're literally like it's like a whole survival, like, Resident Evil style thing, but with, like, Ong and other monsters there, and you're just but you're not like they're just like a deterrent. The real point of the game is you're trying to find your sister or something,
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to look that one
right?
up
Doesn't
because
that
it
look
came out
cool?
last year. I never heard of this game,
Right?
and it's
Like, what
got
that must have been
positive reviews.
the
Yeah,
worst advertised game ever, I guess,
yeah.
because I'm like, "Oh my god, I would have bought that in a heartbeat," and I think it was on sale last week. Should have
Oh, yeah.
jumped on it when it did, but anyway, yeah, I love these fan topic food questions because they lead to such, like, cool things, like, even this one, which was a more, like, on a personal that some of them get to, but it came up with cool, like, makes your creative juices flow?
Yeah, exactly, it makes you think. Well, I know that episode was a little bit more off topic than usual, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was
Yeah.
fun for Brian and I to catch back up after my vacation and having a week off of recording. But we'll be back at it next week. We got tons of movies to cover. I've been pretty slack in my horror movie watching
True.
lately, so I've got to get back
Yeah.
into it. But yeah, we'll be back here, and again, appreciate all your support. Definitely send in those reviews and let us know if you gave us a rating, and we will virtually kill you,
Yeah.
as we did
Oh,
for Tuca.
and I wanted to thank Idiot's Guide to Imagineering for giving us a really great review. You know, we had
Yeah, I listened
mentioned
to
them
that
on the
today.
show, and they returned the favor, which a really like nice review. And so I love that podcast too. So it's
I
like
did
right
too.
up my alley.
I did not have any Disney podcast that I was listening to. In fact, the only theme park podcast I've been listening to is Coastal Radio and In the Loop. And so I didn't really have anything to fill the Disney void. And so when Brian turned me onto this podcast, I've started listening to it. I've been binging like all their back episodes, and they're
That's really
fantastic.
good, right?
It's
It's a
really
cool
good. Yeah.
premise.
Yeah.
It's like right
Those
up.
guys are
It's
great.
literally like the Real Design Contest Disney, like every
Yeah.
episode. It's so awesome because I just love hearing about that, and you could tell they're so passionate about, like, Disney, so it kinda gets you excited, and I mean, they're definitely more Disney World centric because they're all on the East Coast, but, um, but it's still kinda great because they do still go to Disneyland, and they mention Disneyland, and I just love their premise, so and they yeah, so thanks, guys, for giving us a great mention. Hopefully, we'll get some crossover listeners because obviously they exist because that's you and me are 2 of them. So,
Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. We'll see you back here next week. Take care.
yeah.